I'm going to make it a reasonably short video. So the first thing that I wanted to just look at is this here. So what is carbon emissions? Carbon emissions, or EU ETS, is a tax levy that is paid on coal producers or any type of emissions producers as such per tonne of carbon dioxide that they produce. And just recently the European Union have mentioned that they want to revamp it, and they now want potentially ships and ship owners to be part of that sort of people of or So just to quickly get into the video, what actually carbon emissions is it is a tax levy that is put onto EU producers of carbon dioxide, essentially. So power plants, coal producers, and they have to pay a fee, a tax, or a levy, however you want to see it, per tonne of carbon dioxide that they produce. And the intent is that the European Union collect this tax, they can reinvest that into more renewable things, or it incentivizes the producer of the energy to look for alternative means in terms of their the way they're going about doing things. Now at the moment it's 55.08, and pre-pandemic we was trading at around 25. Throughout the pandemic, at the low, we traded at 15. So from the low of 15 up to sort of that 55 level, we've seen this absolutely bonkers 250% rise, which is up there with some of the biggest rises that I've seen in a long time. And now we've had this period of consolidation as such of the last few months. I'm just going to look at the technicals. I know one article which was just written a couple of months ago, about how it affects. I will put a link to this article as well. One of the things that I wanted to look at was the average price per tonne in 2021. They're expecting around 46.28, and in 2022 55.67. Now given the current price of the carbon emissions at 55, you would assume that that's actually overvalued as such based on an average price. But because of this price rise, it's actually slightly under that in August, which tells me that throughout August, September, October, November, we should see a consolidation of price between 50 and 60 to bring that average price up, which is forecast. The EU also want to see this at around €85 per tonne by 2030. We are only in 2021. That's 9 years away, which is quite some distance, or 9 years away. And I do think that at some point, we will get to that, and I think we'll go a lot further. I think that we'll get to €100 per tonne by 2025, possibly 2024. This rally probably, in terms of its momentum, it's pretty bullish. It's pretty amazing. So the chances are we probably will see some form of pullback. However, I'm currently long in this, and I am looking towards 60 in August. And if we do break down, we have this trend line which has been going on since the November low, since Biden was actually elected. And I think this was partly to do with the fact that he joined the Paris climate change, the Paris climate thing, whatever it is. And as a result of that, we've seen this increase in price. And I think that at some point this year, we will touch 60. And if we can continue where we sit, bobbing between 60 and 50, that will bring that average price off of 40 to around 46 to 48, which predicts what Reuters are looking for, and would also be in line with what the EU want, which means that there's still potentially a few trades to be had. We probably will sit in this area and probably go a bit higher. Now, in terms of actually looking at the chart, there is so much support underneath. So we take the Bollinger Bands off and we just look at the chart in plain. We've got the MACD, which has turned positive on the 29th of July on the daily time frame, just here after we had this huge rally. And we have an RSI reading of just 57. So we could go to 65, and it probably not still be overbought. And we can see that here we just continued higher, and we have been to the point where we've been 87 on the RSI up here, and we've still continued higher. after the pullback. And so I honestly do think that we've had, after this period of consolidation, we will probably continue higher, bouncing around between sort of the 50, which would be the floor in this market, towards 60 and then 65. That would be a good case scenario. If we put the actual moving averages on, the EMAs, and we look at the 50, 100 and 20 period moving averages, we can see that we have got the support underneath as well on the daily time frame. So we've got support down to 53.49 here, further down to the 100 period moving average, which sits at around 52.59, and then all the way down to 49.45. I think it's unlikely that we'd get there, but if we did, we could see that as support. And the only reason being is we do have this trend line, and if that trend line was to break, we could see a complete direction or a different change of this market. Overall, this looks like quite a good market. Now, on Minipip, I do follow this. I followed it a few times, and I did originally post about this a few months back when the price was just, I think it was just 36 or 37, and I was just a huge buyer of it. And again, I still reiterate that position. I mean, if despite this consolidation, I think that the resistance is around 58. A push past 58 takes us to 60. Push past 60 towards 65. I'll just show you quickly. So I've just recently posted about the carbon emissions here, about what it is and how it works. So again, this is something that I'm looking into. So again, get rid of that. So that is what I'd be sort of looking towards, and then sort of the price targets are there as well. So we've got all the information about what it is. I've tracked this before and I'll continue to track it. It's an interesting market. If you like what you're watching, I would be really grateful if you could subscribe and like the video. Everything helps. Thanks for watching.